Oh, there goes Ocean. Right at the beginning.
Where we in no way said, okay, we're going live, only for Ethan to go, oh shit, I didn't turn the light on, and immediately left his seat just as the call to go live came in. There he is. He's coming back.
Nope.
All right. He's here. We're all here. We're good to go. Welcome to episode 13. Map 5, bringing it all back together. Yeah, let's get it started.
Sorry, what, are we live?
Yes.
That's what happens when we do a countdown.
As the call to live went, you went, oh shit, I forgot to turn my lights on.
Did they hear that?
Yeah, well, they didn't hear that, but we explained it to them.
Oh, right. The light wasn't on, so I had to go turn the light on.
There was the intro was started. Like there's only so much time to the intro, so like it's we went.
You're on your final warning, Ethan. One more like that.
Actually, I have a story to tell today.
Oh no!
Oh no! All right.
Story time, Ethan. We're already off the rails.
Let me look at the run of show here. 1 second.
Where was story time?
Introductions, overview of the episode. No, there's nothing here about a story from Ethan. So
I didn't see bullying me in the story in the run of show either.
That one's a given. That one's
right. So
standard rule.
We talked about on our co-stream last week. I started doing TikTok content. One of my ideas was to take a bite out of something until Overwatch 2 comes out. One thing a day. It is hard to take a bite out of something because you can't use a fork. Right, one of the rules is you can't use a fork. And today I was going around trying to find something. I'd open my fridge, saw half a cucumber, and said, "Fuck it." And taking a bite out of a cucumber is difficult. It is difficult. I struggled.
And with that, I'm leaving.
All right, well,
I'm going.
You need a stronger jaw, I think, is what we're learning here.
Welcome to episode 13. I mean, we actually got all 4 of us back together for the first time, and it feels like forever. To get all 4 of us,
easily over a month now.
It feels like it. I didn't go back. I didn't go back and actually look at the weeks.
So why have we not all been together? So you went to the kickoff clash, you selfish brats. I went to Comic-Con like a king. What else happened?
I was not expecting that. That floored me, did that.
Things happened. Shit happens. As the great Forrest Gump once said.
Canada for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, Phil.
Blame my wife. I do. So to drag us kicking and screaming back on track, this week we're going to be looking at we've hit the top 32 of OD, so we've got the people locked in to get access to the next round of the beta in time for Contenders Proper, whatever that is. And we've got news in the meantime. And I shoehorned a segment in here because I would like Jeff to tell us all about the magical, wonderful world of the Kickoff Clash that he was at last weekend.
This is definitely shoehorned in as we get our news started. It was a blast. Like it's hard to know where to start. Here we'll start by pulling up a couple of my tweets that were relevant. This is Gaku Space, who is the voice of Genji. Was on site. Was in front, hyping the crowd up, and doing his iconic voice lines and saying "I need healing." In his Genji voice to the crowd, which obviously went over really well. And they did the ultimate, which I'm not even going to begin to try to do. But this was one of just a small snippet of the awesomeness. So outside of being the first real LAN in over 2 years, where it was actually everybody on site. It wasn't like just 1 or 2 of the teams on site. It was a full-blown LAN. All the casters who were casting this event were there and casting on site. I mean, you had Danny Lim Lim was actually hosting from stage, and I mean, like it felt like a real esports event, and something that has been desperately needed in Overwatch, I think, for some time. I mean, there were some regrets. There was a lot of people there that I wish I had got to talk to more, but that was just kind of part of the feel. I mean, when you're walking around and there's, between 8 and 10 contenders players just sitting around with Surmajed and Wub just hanging out and talking, coming across that kind of thing, meeting all kinds of people from all kinds of facets of esports. Met some social media managers, met the SMM from Gladiators, I believe it was, met Wadi, who's a coach in Tier 2 scene, also in the collegiate scene as well for Converse Valkyries. Just getting to run into all of these people and kind of
Well, you didn't
reaffirm
run
our
into
love.
them. I hope you talk to them instead of running into them.
Yes. That's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say run into them. Of course, I had
I feel like you're
conversations.
just dashing around trying to bump into as many people as
No,
possible.
we had conversations. Hands were shook. High fives were had. It was glorious. And then there's the games, and it was phenomenal. There was support there. I mean, despite being in Dallas, there was support there for every team. Every team had some kind of representation in the crowd. People had traveled from all over the country. I mean, just from every end of the country, and I think a couple from even out of country came for this event. So that in of itself was really unique and really awesome, that this wasn't just a Dallas event. This was a national event that really brought all fans together. And I think that was really embodied in the very end. So Gladiators go on to win Kickoff Clash. Spoilers if you hadn't seen it, sorry. And yeah, quite handily. And no argument there as an avid Fuel fan still, hats off to him. But that was kind of part of what I was leading into, is at the end when Patafan's out there holding the trophy and gets all emotional on stage and everything, the entire crowd was on their feet and cheering. It didn't matter what team you were cheering on during the tournament. At that end game, when it was bring the champions out and show the real emotion of these gamers on stage, that entire crowd was standing ovation, clapping their hearts out, cheering for Patafan, and just, celebrating the game and the gamers involved. And to me, it wasn't like a bunch of, angry Dallas fans who were mad that their team didn't win. It was still cheering on the champs and cheering on what it took for them to become the champions. That was my favorite part of the whole weekend. Running into players, and I could selfies with a couple players, and all that kind of stuff was really fun. It was that last moment on Sunday on day 4 that was my favorite part of the entire thing.
That's great to hear. Now, just a random point that's coming to my head. Imagine if we didn't have Pacific contenders at all at the start, we would have never seen Patafan hold that trophy. We'd never had that moment. And now I'm just saying, no, that you're talking about that. And I remember what we were watching. I was watching that moment and going, the Pacific. There's some good players still in the Pacific scene.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could find that tweet, because there was a tweet that was doing some numbers.
I don't know. I genuinely think about it. I'm like, was it ever really doing anyone a harm having a Pacific scene?
Nope.
It cost a bit of money, but not much really.
If you look
in terms of an esport, it's not much.
Yeah, if you look at the teams that have come out of Pacific. Not in Overwatch, obviously we don't have Pacific contenders anymore, despite the fact we still have Pacific players. They just play in other regions. But in other esports, it's a big, diverse region with a lot of talent available to it. And right now we don't really have we've got a big disconnect here.
Also just think of the personality.
Fan show himself off.
Because remember we had personalities like Mickey who came from that sort of region. Patafan, there's good personable people. We're kind of missing the entire. We also had Tonyo in the league.
Thinking CLC himself. Yeah.
No, we realistically, Muse once played in that region. Mm-hmm.
And that was so. Shameless self-promotion. Recently released our video that was all of the interviews that we did for Natter Beta Clash. Be sure to go check that out. But one of those interviews, they talk about. Oh, who was it exactly? It may have been Muma. Was talking about the importance of bringing back South America and kind of Pacific representation and trying to get contenders back into that, and how much we really truly are missing out by not having the ability to promote that talent. So even in those interviews, this point was brought up and emphasized. Apologies, I don't remember exactly which one it was.
I might also be biased, because I remember in 2020 we did the Overwatch AC. One
of my favorite events.
I remember casting that. There were so many talent. Soggy in particular, I remember was the highlight of our broadcast that day. And a couple other players. I remember being really excited for a player called Rack, who played on Battle Angel at the time. So hyped that I put them on 4th in my power rankings, which was a mistake just because of one player, which just excited me. But that was my big breakthrough in Overwatch as well, with the Pacific community. So maybe that's why that kind of comes into my head, is I got trials because of that ACE broadcast. So it's, I miss the Pacific scene, to be honest.
And that was very esports of us. That was, I mean, for me, getting up at like 4 a.m. to do a cast.
Oh my god!
It was.
I don't think we got it. I don't think you did get up at 4 a.m. because we studied. We studied a fucking lot.
I think we just stayed up. I think I just stayed up overnight.
No, because our call time was like 8:15 my time. I remember at 8 o'clock we finished our study and go, I'm having a 15-minute nap.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, tangents aside, we do still have news going on. Let's continue through here.
Oh, it's my section, isn't it?
I would say I think this is actually yours. Yes, sir.
Apologies. I don't know how we're going to talk about 6 minutes about this. I'm sure I'll fucking find it.
6 minutes on the run of show is literally just a guess. It's a placeholder number.
It's just getting time for your rants, Ocean.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, it happens all the time. So, a player in the Overwatch community called PureIrish, been around a long time. Unfortunately announced that they were retiring. I think they were a good player.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of their time in Olden Board, they were starting to stand out as an off tank who I thought was quite good and improving. An Irish talent. Anyone who's Northern Irish or Irish gets a little bit of a smile from me seeing them in the scene. We've got a couple more coming in. We've got Nuts, who is on a roster that we're going to talk about later on when we do our like OD recaps. And a couple more coming into the scene. I think PureIrish is a big part of that because he mentioned some of them in his TwitLonger post when he said he was retiring. I think he was a good player personally. I mean this. I think he had a lot more to give. I think personally, for another year, he could have kicked on. I think he's a good player. It's sad to say that he's retiring. I'm just a little bit upset by this. He was a good player. Simple as that. It's sad to see another player retire.
Yeah, but as with all of these things, it's not like he's retiring and then like just going into a low power state and not doing anything. Like typically these guys are retiring because they found something else that they want to go and do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a loss to the scene, but hopefully that just means some bigger, better life things for PureIrish.
I hope he knows he's an appreciated part because again, he was mentioned a couple of people from Northern Ireland. I don't know what nationality they prefer, so I'm just going to leave it as Irish, I guess. Players, he was talking about them and his thing, and I just think that's fine. We don't have that many players there, and I think personally, he himself had a little more to give. Unfortunately, as I say, it's just upsetting for me. Personally, and I hope he knows he was appreciated, at least by me and some other casters as well.
Well, hopefully he does.
I think that brings us up to our next event with Pride Month going on. There's a few things going on in that realm. Billy, I think
it's true.
Yeah,
I was actually just scrolling through some of the comments about this, but Overwatch League has announced that there's going to be the Overwatch Pride celebration. It's going to be on the 12th of July on Twitch Rivals. $250,000 prize pool to support the LGBTQIA plus community. And we're going to find out who the team captains and more details will be coming soon. I got tagged by a few people to be a part of this and found out that we have more members of the Rainbow casting community than I even knew before. And so, I mean, there's a lot of us out there, and this is going to be a fantastic event. I would either love to play in it or cast it, of course. My gameplay is kind of poo-poo, but I'm looking at some of these replies, and I mean, Muma's like, "Hello, I'm gay."
Yeah, there's big representations. Like I think you saw Muma, Fariha. I think Grandma might have tagged in on that as well.
Yeah, I would like to see some people of the LGBTQ plus community, from the tier 3 scene play as well. Yeah. I don't really want it to be limited to like content creators or people who have a following. I would like to see some of it's lesser the right word. People who aren't known as well in the scene play. Yeah. I think it would be a good opportunity to do that.
I just on a slightly different note on this, I'm trying to think when the last Overwatch Twitch Rivals was.
Feels like 2018. But
I think it would have been like right back in the early days. Like this is, it's fantastic that it's come along here specifically as a Pride event. But for the game, it's big that we have Twitch rivals now, because big third-party tournaments with big cash prizes have historically not really existed in this space. And I think what we're seeing is a little bit of a loosening of the grip here that Overwatch League has on the scene, and that seems to me like a very healthy thing.
Oh, it's got to be healthy.
I love it. Absolutely
really
love
healthy.
this.
And it's for a good cause as well.
Yeah,
you know, it's good
absolutely.
for a good cause as well. Obviously, I can't really speak much, really, but it's more. I mean, you and Billy can talk about what having this sort of event means.
The I in LGBTQIA does not, I'm afraid, stand for Irish.
Does it not? No.
We do also have a smaller but by no means less important news item, which is Altiora, well-known Tier 2, Tier 3 team, are having their own Community Pride Cup. That's coming up at the end of this month, 25th and 26th of June. And I believe this is an open, so if you want to go along and take part, there's the link. Just go to Altiora Gaming on Twitter, find that, and click the link, and off you go. Best of luck to them getting that sorted out.
Yeah, and it's EU and NA as well.
Yes.
So it's not restricted by region. Yeah, by all means, it's anybody and everybody seems to be welcome from the LGBTQIA plus community.
It's LGBTQIANAEU, this tournament.
Okay, just to make that more.
Get out, Phil. We don't need any more letters tacked onto this. I already have a hard enough time getting through the entire alphabet soup that it is.
I could get the first 5. Unfortunately, I try to support as much support as I can, but remembering that many letters is quite hard. Not because I don't support or care about you, it's because I do struggle with the letters.
Shut up.
I don't want to shut up.
Have you guys seen the Xbox controller?
Yes.
There is 35 different pride flags put onto the Xbox controller. I am buying it as soon as I can because this thing is stunningly beautiful, and I need a new controller anyways for my console because I may have dropped my other one one too many times. No, I don't crush it. I don't get tilted like that. I throw my headset if I get tilted.
I see. Fantastic.
Of course.
But I mean, yeah, Pride is a huge month for all of us, and I mean, there is the beautiful. There it is, right there in all its glory. That is a beautiful, beautiful controller.
It's just such a shame that the underlying controller itself is not great. When compared to some of the other console controllers out there, but you know, it is what it is. It's great.
You have to have thin thumbs to play on a PS5. I keep thumb fucking myself every time I try to get on a fucking PS5.
We are definitely immediately moving on to the next news item on the back of that. Holy crap!
PS5 controller. God damn. The 2 sticks are like
news item. Go,
Am I up?
please.
All right. So moving on. Next thing is some changes. Woo! Some changes coming in from Maryville's lineup. We'll start with the additions as Juby and King have now joined alongside the rest of Maryville and with self-proclaimed the best collegiate Overwatch team.
Well, I mean, they've kind of got the results here. They kind of got the results this season, haven't they?
They have. Yeah. They have 2 back-to-back OWCC championships, so it's hard to argue.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is huge. King is definitely one that's been on my radar for a little while. I think this is going to be a great pickup for their DPS line. Juby, I don't know as much about. I recognize the name, seen them around. I don't know what their specialties are or what style is.
Lucio player. Typically.
That's what I was thinking. But we'll.
The reason Juby is famous, if you're not aware, is because
he was
heavily like memed into the dirt here with the goodbye Juby graphic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Which I think if we thought ahead of time, would have been able to bring up. So yeah, look. Not that I'm looking forward to him leaving Maryville, but I'm sure when he moves on to something else, we'll get a goodbye Juby resurfacing of that meme.
Did Houston do a goodbye Juby?
I think.
If
I
they
can't
didn't,
remember.
My computer is
I don't remember
sluggish all of a sudden. I am so sorry.
I can tell.
Yeah, I don't know what. Like, my mouse is just gone. I'm not sure what just happened. I have to bear with us.
Are we still live? Are we all good?
We're fine. It's just really sluggish. My CPU usage just went through the roof for some reason.
Cool thing to know about these two players is they played together on a team called Benched for Jake in the last round Invitational. Didn't do very well, but that's besides the point. They've got some existing synergy, and they're both very good players.
Just on the Houston Outlaws goodbye Juby, there was no goodbye Juby tweet. It was actually a very sincere, quite well-meaning thing. But the top response of the many, many tweets following that is the classic Triumph goodbye Juby meme.
Nice.
Are you sure we're still live?
My sources, I'm still trying to iron out. Just.
I don't think we're live.
Is that what happened?
I've got a spinning circle. We also very briefly lost Billy's camera.
Yeah, but
I think the stream just crashed.
Yeah.
It's still showing clean on my end. That's the weirdly. Well, at least it's not an internet issue.
I know it doesn't look like an internet issue either. It look because there's a stream there. It's just not working.
I'm trying to troubleshoot. Give me a second, y'all.
That's okay. No rush on our.
On the off chance that somebody can hear this,
Help.
Yeah.
If he's having some serious computer issues because we've just lost all of our camera. We are now live.
Yeah, no, I just switched off of my Ethernet and went into my other Wi-Fi. Something I think it was a combination of issues.
Oh. Well, we're back.
Yeah, we should be good.
I think they got like a bit of like random signs that we were saying.
Yeah, dividing saying it's live and you hear sounds, but it cut out briefly. I think we're back and all Gucci now. But yeah,
I had to go to my backup internet. Time. I think we're good now. Okay. So sorry.
It happens. Computers do be computing.
Oh, that's the truth.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that kind of cut off the nice, smooth segue from.
It was going to be so good. It was going to be so good.
Well, oh yeah, but look, Maryville just signed Juby and King, Jeff. Wow.
Yeah, so they did. And it's a good thing, too, because, well, they've lost their one and only tank. Are we still groovy?
We're still groovy.
All right. I got worried for a second.
We should all just be like silent for a second and then he like prank him.
Hey, don't scare me like that. But yes, Mikey getting picked up to go join Kaluge over on the Shock, reuniting. Somewhat reuniting. As Kaluge also played for a short stint on Maryville as well. But this is a huge pickup, and of course, my first thought is, I mean, are we anticipating an Orisa meta here? Like, what's because Mikey played a lot of Orisa and looked really good on it. But so I think this is an interesting pickup, though very valid. Like, I'm curious what their plans are with Mikey.
I think it's just extra support because realistically, there's 7 tank heroes and Kaluge's one person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get another person in there, extra support. Hey, look, someone will practice Doomfist this week. Someone will practice a different style of Winston, right? It's going to be too much of a job, I think, for one tank to play on a team this season.
And I think one of the things that we saw from last week's games is actually like tank flexibility is incredibly important. If you put yourself into a map with someone who can only play Winston and suddenly find you need to run Zarya, well, that's a big problem. If you're only tank player has to cover every role, that's very difficult. And if you look at the way that Kaluge and Mikey have traditionally split roles, Kaluge is much more of a off-tank player, and Mikey is much more of a main tank player. And so
absolutely,
that it decreases the amount of focus that each of them has to put on, every single hero in the game. I still think having specific tanks with specific roles is going to be difficult. I think if, like, we kind of saw this last week, like, Reiner was so good and so flexible on a bunch of roles here that he can just kind of walk over everybody else. And then when Dallas tried to counter that, they either put in Fearless and he swapped to counter Fearless, or they put in Handbin and they swapped to counter Handbin. And like, you need somebody like that.
One note that's also really cool about this, Joe, is like Mikey's probably weakest main tank would probably be his Winston, because he's actually not bad at Winston. Like they've both got pretty alright Winstons if needed, right? So I think the jail fits nicely. I was really surprised to see Mikey get the call, because Mikey's previous experience in the league with Boston didn't exactly go to plan. So I mean, it's a surprise, but I think it's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I think it's really far more Boston's fault than it was Mikey's fault.
Yeah. I think we can all agree on that, just with what we've seen since. So taking a back look at Maryville's current roster, they don't have any tanks.
Nope.
You will notice
and
3
4
DPS
supports.
and 4 supports, on this roster, including Luke Mino and their new pickups, Juby and King down here at the bottom. But if we scroll down a little bit, we see the last 4 tanks were Mikey, Cameron, Kaluge, and False. 3 of those 4 now in Overwatch League.
Provide technically was at least signed into Overwatch League, even if he never got to play a game.
Yeah, well, that's his own fault.
Yeah. No sympathy for the guy, but
nope.
It's just interesting.
It is, and it actually speaks volumes to Maryville's recruiting. And if we're gonna look at the positive side of things, like they keep recruiting these players that are, I mean, and very specifically tanks, that are all Overwatch League level within a short stint of playing on this squad of winning collegiate championships with Maryville, might I add. So. It'll be interesting to see what they do going into the 22-23 academic season. I'm curious who they're going to find to fill this void. If it's going to be a fresh face that we haven't heard of before, or I mean, what established tanks are left? I mean, who?
They're all gone.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I mean, to be fair, tank situation is not as bad as the flex support one, right?
No.
In the least dramatic way possible, it seems like anyone who plays flex support in Overwatch just dies. They're all gone. Like, genuinely, they've all disappeared.
That is unfortunate.
I do wonder if they maybe make a move to sign somebody from like one of the other big universities and one of the big colleges out there. Like, none of these collegiate players are like absolutely locked in for the most part. Like, there's usually some wiggle room in the way in which they receive their scholarship, which means that they can transfer and take credits with them. So I think if I was a team like Maryville with a proven record of success, I'd be having a look at who else is doing well and who your competition was in collegiate, and go, maybe I'll offer these people a scholarship and then they can come and play for my Overwatch team.
And of course, moving into Overwatch 2, perhaps there will be that opening. I mean, do Northwood, value Seasons and Cowman enough to keep them, keep them both on and keep them from getting recruited? I mean, same thing with Redbird.
Absolutely.
Gig and Iron, dude. Or are they willing to let one of those?
Iron's not there anymore.
No. Oh, true. It's who's the one they picked up from?
We're not allowed to say it because something announced.
Who's the one that has played with them most recently that they?
You're not allowed to say.
No. One of the tank players moved over to Regen.
React, but that's
React went to Regen.
But he's not even a tank player. He's a DPS.
Yeah, he's a DPS player.
I'm just.
No, because he was playing tank for Redbird.
He played off tank for Redbird. He swapped. He filled in.
This is all speculation, and my chance for a smooth segue out of this one into the next one is rapidly disappearing. So let's move from talking about rookies and potential. Yeah, let's just crush your hopes and dreams. And let's have a look at Rookie Watch, looking back at the week of Overwatch, what was, and seeing who stood out here. They've moved from contenders.
Yes, and I even have an nifty little graphic. Here we go. It's time for Rookie Watch.
Somebody's a professional animator.
It's our newest segment here, where we get to highlight some of these players, and it's one of my favorite segments. So, brilliant suggestion here from Mr. Phil. Speaking of professionals. Oh, Billy's gone into the void. All right, as I change these things up, we're just going to go ahead and bring this on up. Boom, doing some prod things, building suspense as I do. And I'm going to start us off. We're going to go back all the way to week 4 for my pick. No, this is not Kickoff Clash. The other three all have Kickoff Clash stuff, but I want to focus in on London, which is ironic because it is Phil here next to me who is repping the London gear. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, you can't tell. This is also a London hoodie, but all of the London stuff has peeled off over the years.
I mean, it is the exact same color as your shirt. So unless like they got the Pantones just naturally right, like, oh wait, what is my? No, I don't want auto quality. Give me some 1080, because I want you to be able to see this in all its glory. It's worth it. I'll go back to this screen while it loads.
That's a poor choice for someone whose stream just died.
Hey, I switched my internet zone over. Okay, it's on backup internet now. All right, here we go. It's enough suspense. This one comes from week 4 in the game versus Atlanta Reign and London Spitfire. This is map 1, and we're gonna be looking at Landon here. For this first one, as you can see, Sparko's already down. It's Landon Falls. Wait, this may be Admiral on this one. Yes, this is the Admiral one. Sorry, Landon's the next fight. Admiral comes through, gets UV. Admiral moves into this small room. Hottie's super low. Admiral's just riding on the walls and decides to kill everyone. Gets up that sound barrier. And yeah, it is chopping a little bit, unfortunately. But this is such a good play. Admiral comes up with a 4K in this fight. When they were already down, they had no DPS in this fight. And Admiral comes through with a big 4K. Landon actually gets an equally impressive run back in the next fight because Kai and Nero come back with ultimates. Landon single-handedly shuts down both Tac Visor and Blade. Doesn't allow Atlanta to get into this fight. And that's it keeps London on track because it's push, right? So we figured out that whoever wins that first control point wins 85% of the time. These 2 fights that London win on the back of their rookie support line allow them to push the cart back and get that edge. London would go on to win this one 3-2. If it wasn't for these 2 fights, London does not win this series. Yeah. And this is against Atlanta Reign. This is against, third place team overall in Kickoff Clash. And I honestly believe this is kind of the start of people actually taking London seriously. And with changes coming through to the beta, Brawl is looking to be even more prominent going into mid-season madness, I believe it's called. Yep. And so keep an eye out for London. Keep an eye out for these 2. A brilliant play. I'm sorry it was choppy. It's worth going back and watching when on your own screens, on your own internet. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. It was, even despite all the amazing action we saw at Kickoff Clash, I still wanted to highlight this play. It impressed me so much.
Yeah, it was definitely a very good day to be a London supporter. And actually, I can't tell if it was like serious acknowledgement or joking acknowledgement of in one of the post-game interviews for Reign acknowledging London as their rivals. Seemed quite a fun twist. Yeah, go London.
Go London.
Ace is high.
There you go. There you go. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that at all.
Well, that brings up my pick of the week, and it's Hydran from the Florida Mayhem. They ended up losing the series in the clip that we're about to show, but I've been high on Hydran for a while, and just taking a look at this recontest onto the point, you see the flight come through from Hydran and just goes out of his way to make sure that he's got clear sight lines. They block him in with the wall, and then he just goes absolutely freaking ham.
It's a beautiful clip. And of course, Hydran from the from American Tornado. I mean, we were singing his praises for a while. It's good to see him flourish in the league.
I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed with him.
I think I said around at the time of the signing that I think he has Rookie of the Year potential. I don't think we're quite there yet for Hydran, but it's been a very tough tournament if you're not one of the, if you're not Dallas Fuel and you're not the LA Gladiators. It's been a pretty tough tournament all around. So I think he's still got that potential, and you can kind of see that here, right? Like definite star DPS potential.
Oh, yeah. All the rookies on Florida have been phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And Hydran is certainly amongst those. Sermajed as well. I'm sure we'll get a Sermajed rookie watch clip here one of these weeks. I have no doubt. He's just that talented.
Yeah, easily. And I think run of show-wise, that brings it over to me. And if you tuned in for the last one of those who did, I picked Vindame from the Soul Dynasty last time, and you can't stop me. I'm going to do it again. Vindame from the Soul Dynasty. A very aggressive player, not afraid to put himself out on a limb. Sometimes it works, sometimes he gets punished, but Soul Dynasty actually won a tournament this time, and it would have been possible without Mindame. And this is classic. Goes in, does find a couple of kills, and then unfortunately gets punched over the edge. But by that point, Soul have won the fight, and Lucia's going to be back nice and quick, right? So who cares?
That is very very Mindame. Oh, here, let's see if we can pack that up a little bit more. Because this is the highlights. It's not directly from the game itself. Okay, here's where the clip starts again. Want to give this one?
Yeah.
That nice little move on his ass. Woo!
Yeah. Gets it. I think he does most of the work there onto Fixer, and Fitz hits the Helix to round him out. But yeah, it's good stuff. We do, looking at the runner show, have a bit of an issue. We have to excuse Ethan for a couple minutes. So maybe the smart thing here is to move on to our main topic, and we can tag back in with Ethan's clip a little bit later on once we're through the run of show a little more.
Yeah, that works for me. I'm happy to throw an audible in. Oh, I should get caught up on prod stuff here. There we go. Sorry.
Okay.
I thought I'd already changed that screen. My bad. S tier producer.
Look, can I say? So obviously Jeff wasn't on the co-stream last week because he was on the floor. We did try and get him in for a call, but it didn't work out.
No.
And having spent that weekend running production on something that is far less complicated than the podcast format, I have a lot of respect for the production here because it's hard work and it's stressful. And if things go wrong, you've got to balance talking to an audience and being engaging, and also frantically tapping away at buttons trying to find out what's wrong. So rather you than me, Jeff. Rather you than me.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. I guess that brings us into our main topic, and
indeed,
that's gonna be our OD Week 3 recap. It's really a recap of everything that's happened up to this point. As top 32 have been determined. We are moving into winners bracket finals for both regions starting tomorrow. Still a couple of, I think, 2 losers bracket games to play, winners bracket final, and then grand finals is what we have remaining, if I'm remembering right.
I think you're right. You're right.
Yeah, lower semi, loser final, grand final, correct.
There you go. So first and foremost, here, let's take a look. We will start with NA because it's just the one I had in order.
It's nearest.
It is nearest. Let's take a look here. And there we go. That's the right window. Can I zoom? I can zoom, right? Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. So these are your top 32 teams. They are listed in order of their performance, so how well they have done. That's probably a bit too zoomed in. There we go. That's better.
There we go.
So this is your top 2, your number 1 and number 2. And it's not necessarily their seeding going in or any kind of personal power ranking or something like that. This is their results. So GeForce and Smart Brain users who were formerly Death Computer will be facing off tomorrow in the winners final. So I have them as your number 1 and number 2 seed because they're the only 2 teams out of 150 some odd to not be defeated yet.
Yep.
Only ones left in winners bracket. Budget HU and Express have both put on good performance. Boston Finest is one. Infected's team that we've been keeping an eye on. They have done very well through this also. Let's talk about the top 2 teams first. GeForce continue. Whoops, that was the wrong button. There we go. This is the one I wanted.
There we go.
GeForce have been looking really good, y'all. And I mean, not really surprised. I mean, they have their own unique style of play where we're looking at what we like to lovingly call rock and roll comp. I mean, it's the ball Sigma comp, so kind of a poke dive hybrid with Pummy and Ultimate Wep. Switching between. It's Pummy's either on the Sombra or the Ash pretty much exclusively. Oh, I lost my feed. We'll just close that up until that pops back up. Oh,
there we go.
You gonna behave? You're gonna behave? All right, you behave. So yeah, Pummy and Ultimate Wep swap it off between basically their 2 preferred heroes. Nothing else really changes much with this team, which you would think makes it easier to prep for them, and yet somehow no one has been able to do it. Now, I will say they struggled a bit during Beta Clash. They were not able to win a single map in Beta Clash. They got 0-2'd both times. Now, that tournament was a bit more of established Tier 2 teams, not as many T3 teams. I'd consider GeForce kind of the top of the heap of T3, certainly with their performance in Open Division. But other than that, their offseason performance has been outstanding. I mean, was number one in the Berry Blast. They got number one on another one of the offseason tournaments, either Last Ride or something like that. They've had a lot of first place finishes through the offseason, and GeForce are certainly my favorites to take the whole thing.
Yeah, I think we've every time GeForce have come up, I'm sure if Ethan was here, he'd talk about this as well. The defining factor, the thing that GeForce has that so many Tier 2, Tier 3 teams don't currently have is just consistency, because they've been playing together ever since, since before the end of the last Path to Pro. Very few changes to the lineup. The meta shifts haven't tanked any of their picks. They're riding high on the classic OTP thing of, like, our comp has some very strong, very niche synergies, and we're used to using them, like the Oyers and the Clockwork Vendettas of the world, with arguably a little bit more flexibility than a lot of your typical OTP teams. And so, until we get to the point where we are all playing in a very stable, very established meta with those classic Tier 2 teams that we're kind of used to seeing in this space, I don't see anybody dethroning GeForce for a little while.
No, and
it'd be a tough ask.
It will. Now, the team they'll be facing up tomorrow will be Smart Brain Users. Like I said, they used to be Death Computers. What we've seen them, the moniker we've seen them play under throughout this offseason. And they've done very well also. Let's see if this footage wants to work here. I apologize. I'm on suboptimal internet. I'm not on my primary internet, so it's not working as smoothly as I would like. But we're gonna give it a go in either way. We're gonna give it the old college try. But let's turn your eyes here. We'll pause this just so it does darken the screen a bit. Unfortunate. If we take a look at their roster in the top right-hand side, it's all the same from what we've seen from previous Death Computer, but their tank line. So Mead XR, I don't know if that's meter or exactly what the pronunciation on that's supposed to be. So we're going to go with Mead XR for now. Moved from the support role into the tank role. And then Ratzo Walds, I believe, is Salty, who was he played under Salty in the previous iterations of this squad. So not a new pickup. I'm not 100% confident on that, but the username in not BattleNet, but Game Battles is Chalty, Chalty. So I think it's a pretty safe, connect the dots. That's who Ratzo is in this Ratto Swalds or whatever that name is. I'm pretty sure this is the same DPS player they've always had. That's my point, friends. That's my point. Yeah. They've looked really good. They're very adaptable. They run a variety of compositions. Mm-hmm. They're not quite as one trick as GeForce is. That they make very smart adaptations, and so this will be interesting to see how they approach the fight with GeForce, knowing what GeForce is going to bring out, and so far have shown from what little. I mean, in Open Division, we don't get a whole lot of exposure to these teams.
Nope.
So it's not like I've got a lot of sample sizes to go with here, but in the match that I've seen, they were really good at adapting their compositions. I'm curious to see how what they bring to the table against this GeForce squad.
Yeah, I wanted to point out something. It's now no longer on screen, but for somebody that watched almost 20 hours of Overwatch last week, how weird seeing 6 people in the bar up is right now. Like, it looks so cluttered.
It does.
I feel claustrophobic being in Overwatch 1 right now.
Yeah, that'll do that to you.
And even the gameplay feels weird.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. And it's funny, after watching the entirety of Kickoff Clash, going back to Overwatch 1, it makes me wonder why I ever questioned getting rid of one of the tanks. Because Overwatch 2 kind of does just feel like the way it should have always been.
Yeah,
what?
Well,
What do you?
like you've been... No, I was going to say, it sounds like you've been thoroughly 5v5 pilled, which I find it hard to... I think that I don't have a problem with the way 5v5 plays, but I do have a lot of nostalgia for 6v6 because it's been such a big part of life for the past 6 years or whatever it's ended up being now. Yeah, I don't have much more to add than that.
No, and I think I don't think that we would, if they had done it 5v5 from the beginning, that there wouldn't be any question on whether that's the right way to do it, honestly. And as a tank player, like I'm gonna miss having some tank synergies and some tank duos. It does feel a little lonely out there at times when you're used to having a friend, to help accompany you on the front line. And as we get the pouty face coming in from Billy, but I like the change and I like the way 5v5 plays. I mean, I think Kickoff Clash was phenomenal. I think it was wonderful Overwatch. And
I think I was the most vocal about it not wanting to go to 5v5. I didn't want it to become a clone of every other first-person shooter game. And after having played it with you guys, after having cast it, it just flows. It just flows. And I'm going to miss 6v6. But, man, now having one less person each side to keep track of, from a color color caster's counterpoint, it's going to be easier for us to hold track and kind of make the right decisions going into these fights when we're trying to describe what's about to happen, because you got one less player on each side, so less CPU usage for me and for Ocean. But I mean, I'm right up there with you though. The nostalgia factor, I'm going to miss having a tank buddy. I mean, some of my best times have always been with my off-tank player. When I was playing competitively, me and my off-tank player would spend hours getting our synergy together. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to miss the tank duos. But I think you're absolutely hit the nail on the head, Jeff, that it's just fantastic stuff. Okay.
One more thing before we move on, talking about EMEA. I mean, one more thing from me. If y'all have anything else y'all would like to add, I'm open to it. But I want to go back and look at some... Okay, we've talked about the top 2 teams coming out of NA. Let's look at some of the other squads that we might be wanting to keep our eye on, not only through the rest of Open Division, but as we move into the Summer Series. Again, I mean, obviously all of these teams are eligible to sign up for Summer Series. I don't want to say they qualified is a bit weird because it's not a direct correlation.
Yeah.
But they are eligible to sign up and they will be guaranteed access. So other ones we're looking at, Budget HU and Express here in the winter semifinal, though they both lost in semifinals, so they're still in it. Express is one I wasn't really super familiar with. They've been doing awesome. Boston Finest has been doing awesome. But the one I really want to highlight is this one down here, Hughes Money Crew. With the clever name, sure. And went out, relatively early. They did win in losers bracket, but they got knocked down into losers bracket fairly early in our competition. And they are still in this thing. They will be facing up against Budget HU. If I remember, if you have to go to the second page, their loss was way early in OD. It was like round 3 that they got knocked down to lowers bracket, and they have been battling through the lower bracket run. They have made a phenomenal lower bracket run to face Budget HU in loser semifinals tomorrow. So I don't know what name you probably won't see this name, but this is, coming some Wisp players, like this is just kind of an amalgamation of T3, T2 names you most likely recognize. Doom Godoa, Carrots, Matt Merck, of course, Pedal, most recently from UTD. So recognizable names
Petal
on this school. Yes, Pedal and the Omega Lulz, exactly. Now that would be a good contenders name right there. They should just roll with that for their contenders team. So I doubt we'll see it under the name Hughes Money Crew, but keep an eye on this roster. I think they may surprise some people once we get into Summer Series.
Can I just jump in here with an interesting observation here about Hughes Money Crew, and this is mostly to do with how they're represented on Liquipedia. If you look at their roster on Liquipedia, both Petal and Abdallah are listed as on loan from Third Impact, and if you then go into the Third Impact page, they're the only 2 players currently on Third Impact. which I think is fun.
I mean, is that?
Yeah, that's all I wanted to bring up.
Is that a Third Impact revival? Is that where are we going to see Third Impact come back, and that's what they're going to be competing under?
No, so hang on, it's 5v5 for Overwatch 2, 4v4 for Overwatch 3, 3v3 for Overwatch 4. So we won't see a 2-man Third Impact roster until at least Overwatch 4.
Okay.
So that's what they're planning on. Third Impact is thinking way ahead. That's what.
Yes.
Gotcha.
They're playing 9D chess. The other thing I want to add in, we mentioned very briefly Express. Player of note on Express is Faded, Canadian tank player who is also playing for the Bay States.
Yeah.
So Faded and the Who Mega Lols. That's not fair. I have to say I don't hugely recognize any of the players on Express, and that is my own ignorance rather than anything else.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of footage for a lot of these players to be able to recognize.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
We do what we can.
Apologies. We're not going to see my face for the rest of this episode.
Oh, thank God.
Just...
I'm kidding, Ethan. We love you, really.
You talk about Express players. Shigarari used to play for Dripping Heat, who finished 4th in OD last year at one point.
I remember Dripping Heat,
sure. Reverse, I think plays Lucio. I don't really know Reverse. I think he plays Lucio. Chosen used to be on UDG/DICE back in 2020, and Otters is a flex support player. He's played around some OTP teams and done quite well previously mechanically.
Well, there we go. What a wonderful time for you to tune in, for you to chime in even.
Yep, perfect. Well, I think that brings us over to EMEA.
Sounds like it.
Any further thoughts?
I wasn't here. Some interesting rosters for me was the Playing for Access, seeing Pizza Demon back. Just saying a flex support come back to Overwatch is new. Frosted, Seasons, some cool players there. Yeah. Surprised they didn't get some better results. Would like to see more of them. And there was one other roster, Yahtzee. Not Yahtzee. No, it wasn't Yahtzee. It was Smoke, because a lot of these players. Kuffa, we've seen before at a pretty high level. Maximus, we've seen get results and then not get results. And we've seen Chime, I think has been on Whisper. Yeah, was Chime was Shoes Money Crew, yeah?
Yeah.
And Miracle was also Shoes Money Crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Chime was on Wisp and then went to Drifters as well. So Chime has been around as well. So, they've got players... who have played at high levels, but not consistently. Every single one of them. I mean, look, funnily enough, you've got a very consistent main support in Aspen, but again, hasn't got the results consistently. So every single one of them players has a little bit of a point to prove to saying, oh, look, I can consistently get results. And so that's really interesting to me.
Will they actually stay together, though? That's the big question.
I think that could be a really unique story. If somebody goes and works with them and says, look, let's consistently go and get results, that would be really interesting to me.
I want to tag in here, again, with just a random aside, because I think it's genuinely very funny. Jeff, I've just sent you a link. Can we bring that up on screen?
Sure.
So if you're not familiar with Liquipedia, firstly, why are you watching this podcast? Secondly, Liquipedia does a really good job of automatically generating pages for you to show you what your main achievements are, but you do have to go and put in the work if you want anything more than the very bare bones coverage here. And so I feel like we kind of have to bring up Momentum's
what the fuck is this
page. Exactly. This guy has a full blown chronologically ordered
who the fuck bothered?
Wow.
My guess is he thought it was funny, or someone that knows him thinks it's funny.
This is impressive.
I am impressed.
He started playing video games at a young age with Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Sorry, he played Minecraft and Roblox until he picked up Overwatch in November 2017. Basically, initially in bronze, he slowly climbed the rank ladder and reached Masters before he picked up Brigitte. Momentum pushed up to 6411 SR, primarily playing Brigitte, and became known as a break abuser in ladder.
This may be the best Wikipedia page of all time.
Yeah, easily. I don't think there's a lot of competition.
Early career,
Sorry, I'm
winnable.
just gonna keep looking.
Go have a look at his trivia. Ocean. His favorite anime includes I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, Your Lie in April, and Jujutsu Kaisen. That is some range here.
Those are three very different animes. Two of them are quite good. Two of them are quite
Spanish and
good.
German descent. Oh.
Like, can I additionally point out the Young and Beautiful one starts off with taking a trip overseas along with fellow American Landon.
I'm dying over here. This is the best Wikipedia page of all time.
I have honestly let myself down. I should have.
Did you even see the quote at end of career? This game fucking blows. Momentum parts of October 2021.
He would step away from competing in favor of getting a job, citing a lack of financial and developmental support from Blizzard. Oh my!
I'm dead.
Wow.
That is a wow.
With several of our cast members dead, maybe now is the time to move over and have a look at what's happening.
It's your only chance.
My home region.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, here's your top 32 for EMEA. Coming up on screen now with Munich Esports leading the squad. No big surprise there. Taking on Equal Friend in our winners final tomorrow. Ocean, you were talking a little bit about Equal Friend prior to us going live.
I like their sport line. I really do. I think they're like proven tier 3 players. I think personally, I've always thought LP, deserved a shot in contenders. I always thought Natlox deserved a shot in contenders. Neither were ever given it. They're two very, very consistent players. Neither of them are particularly showy, but they can play all of the heroes in their role, pretty well. I would always describe Natlox as a B-Tech French Aspen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very descriptive.
He's good. Good at all the three main support heroes. Not quite as good as Aspen is, but it's a consistent player, right? And Natlox is obviously French, I think, if I remember correctly. If I get that wrong, that's bad.
Yes, Natlox is indeed French.
Right, and LP, spoke to Blue a couple of times, seen LP play really, really well, consistently at the top of tier 3 for a while. It amazes me he never got a shot. He's an older player as well. Good player. I like their support line. I like Animated, who's coaching this roster. I think Animated is extremely talented. Henningsen is a name that a lot of people will remember. Weak or 9 on a civil, as a player, people know. I'm personally not a fan of the DPS line. I think that there's better players out there. Mechanically, these boys are talented, but it's just not my cup of tea, personally. I'm sure the roster's been built with some sort of players in mind and that they know who they're picking up. Yeah. Personally, not my cup of tea, but we'll say I like the idea of the support line. I love the head coach in Animated. I like the idea and why this roster's built.
Horthick played for Marywood or Maryville. Am I correct?
And then Miami. And then Miami, yeah. Right? Yeah. My thing with I hope Natlox takes that as a compliment. I actually really like Natlox. I think he's quite good. But look, there was the consistent player. When I think of consistent main supports in contenders, I think Aspen, because she can play all three. And then I think there's he's not quite as good. He's just a B-Tech version. He's French. That's not dissing. Oh, just move on. Sorry, Natlox. I hope. I like you. You're a good player, and I hope you do well in contenders because I think you deserve that chance. All right.
He's on the piss. I swear to God.
I'm all right. I'm not on the piss. I'm just tired and not well.
It is very late over there in
it's not. I'm not tired because it's late. I'm tired because I just had a nervous breakdown. I'm not feeling up to it, so I apologise.
That's quite okay. You are under no obligation to do any more than you feel up to doing.
Agreed.
Where else are we with these rosters? Who else is still in the running here, Jeff?
Well, let's go back and look at the bracket. I was taking a look at who Equal Friend had beat, which included SRP Check, who I believe
Cloudy's team.
A roster I wanted to take a look at. Because this is Cloudy's team.
Majority Finnish roster as well.
Yeah.
Look, I never want to hear this is Petal and the Homegalons times 10. It's Clyde and it's Clyde and crew who used to play for Catboy Esports and finished in top 16, and some other people I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what this roster is.
Let's go take a look at losers bracket. I'm not sure off the top of my head who exactly still remains. I know that Silly and Strong would probably be my dark horse pick.
Oh, well, I mean, they're out, but...
No, they are out.
They're
they got beat.
Very dark horse, pitch black.
They are.
I don't mean for.
However,
hey, I don't mean dark horse for OD. I mean dark horse for Summer Series.
I don't even don't turn this roster. I'm a fan of it too.
Yes.
We were talking about what rosters kind of stood out to us. Me and Jeff both said Silly and Strong. Well,
yeah.
I'm not sure if it was for different reasons. But for me, when I'm looking at tank lines here, or good tank players, I'm thinking Shire, I'm thinking Melon. That is a very good tank line. I know we're moving to 5v5, but they're both very, very good players to have anyways. I would keep them both. Condi is a player we've seen and do some work. Again, I look at their team and I'm going, look, I don't know who Moff GN is. I don't know who they are, unfortunately. I haven't seen them around. Nuts is a player who's kind of been growing in the scene recently. I've seen him put in some pretty okay performances. Not enough to say, I know that Nut is a good player.
But he had some pop-off moments on BAP in this series. This is the only one we saw them streamed on, and it's against Munich, who is, number 1 seed, has been undefeated.
And arguably, did they lose Ilios as well, didn't they?
Yes, Munich won Ilios, and then Silly and Strong put up 2 wins back-to-back.
Arguably, they played better on Ilios than Munich did, arguably. I think that's all to keep an eye on. Sardonyx was a name I'd never heard of. I thought they played well in that series in particular.
Just as a bit of flavour, a bit of context, Sardonyx played, I believe, for one of the Welsh teams in the Belong Arena Clash series.
Oh, nice.
I think did he play in the Cardiff one that doesn't exist anymore?
Possibly.
I think
I have run into other Sardonyxes elsewhere, so I can't guarantee that, but I'm fairly confident that's I know the name Sardonyx.
I think they played quite well in that series. Never really heard of them before. I need to see more from them. Just go, this is a player. Personally, I look at that roster and go, that's a talented roster. Also,
they almost
has 6
beat
different
Munich.
Flags. 6 different flags.
Damn, okay. I respect it. I respect.
Is there any more rosters like that? Sorry, I'm not nosy.
Let's have a look.
I don't know, but I'm telling you, keep an eye on Silly.
Close.
Keep an eye on Silly and Strong. Back to the point. Keep an eye on Silly and Strong heading into Summer Series. Condi has a great series. And then, they kind of falter here on Volskaya, but they went 2-1 up on Munich, and like Ocean said, did really well on Ilios. Arguably played better on Ilios, and this could be a 3-0 in this point right now, and Silly and Strong are still in
I think
winner's bracket, and Munich Esports is down in loser's bracket.
I think it speaks volumes that 2 of us selected that, this team, can go far in the long run. And instantly selected them. I really enjoyed watching that game, actually. I really wanted Munich to lose. And I thought Silly and Strong played well.
Yeah, I'm conflicted on the Munich Esports roster because there are several players on this roster that I quite like. Like, I'm a big fan of Love, I'm a big fan of ANJ. Finzy's obviously got a lot of pedigree as a player.
I haven't seen Finzy play yet.
Yeah, it's been trust me.
I have to admit, I've not been following Open. I haven't had the time and the bandwidth to follow Open Division as closely as I would have liked.
Understandable.
So it's been Trust Me and Choose. Is that tank lineup?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So So yeah, they're a good team. Munich obviously in the winners bracket sitting pretty right now.
Yeah.
I think I would really like to see Equal Friend give them a go. I think they have the ability to give them a go. But there's one team that look we haven't mentioned, right? We haven't
There's several
mentioned.
we haven't. I'm looking at Brolov, for example.
Oh,
yeah, Brolov looked good. I mean, I was.
Can we talk? So the reason I actually quite like Brolov is Mr. Dragonall and Demi both used to play under Zandia in Europe. Mr. Dragonall's Tracer, man. Oh, there. A Tracer's a good hero in Overwatch 2. You can also play Soldier, who's a good hero in Overwatch 2.
Mm-hmm.
I like Dragon. I think he's a sweet kid. He's older than me, so that's a weird thing to say. But good player, good Tracer. Demi is got so many mechanics. If only he had not the brain to back it up.
Perhaps the coaching.
No, he's a smart lad. He's a good coaching before. There's a word here. Like he's lacking something, common sense maybe.
It happens to the best of us.
He's a good player, Demi. Dragon, good player. Both work with both of them. Enjoyed working with both of them for the most part. Demi was a bit loud. We'll put it that way. Never really knew when to shut up, but he's a good lad.
For those of you at home playing my favourite game, Spot the Clockwork Vendetta reference, Katakomi, very briefly. On the earliest iteration of Clockwork Vendetta back when they were OTP.
I was going to point out Team Peps, the one.
Somebody
posted. No, I would like to
hold on. Before you guide us off to Team Peps, there's still a point I want to make here because it's a small point. It's a small point, but Brolov is the team that knocked Cillian Strong out of the tournament. So we were talking high on Cillian Strong, and I still believe in that roster and think they'll do good things. This Brolov roster was able to beat him and sent them home. So just another team to keep an eye on. And then Frosttails is the one who beat Brolov. And Frosttails is another one that I think has a lot of potential throughout this tournament. But Team Peps does as well. So I'll be happy to take a look at that roster next. Team Peps are still in this.
There was a post on Twitter that got like 3K likes recently. It was a bit of a silly post. It was a very silly post. It was one post to the Team Peps roster and said how well would this team do in the Overwatch League? The answer is some of the pieces might do all right.
Yeah,
they wouldn't get very far in the Overwatch League. Let's be real. They played pretty well in last ride considering they were on ping. But again, if you want to do well in the Overwatch League, you shouldn't be beat by tier 3 teams. Losing to tier 4 teams in Korea last season was kind of embarrassing. Well, I like to say that. I think I'm allowed to say that. It did happen a couple of times. It was really funny. I think they're talented players, great personalities. Great to have them here in the tier 2 scene for at least a little bit to get some numbers and clicks. Respectable people. Yeah. But I really don't think that they are all that. They're good players individually, but the fact that Getamace is kind of coaching and is not coaching, is playing. Getamace was the head coach of this roster, trying to get the best out of it.
Yeah.
I'd think differently, but I just don't see them. I don't see them beating Equal Friend. They lost Equal Friend.
I think what we're seeing here is the name recognition effect, and people go, "Oh yes, Overwatch League, Overwatch League, Overwatch League, Overwatch League. Therefore, they are the best team in the tournament." And that's it. And there's maybe not always the level of thought behind that of like, oh, okay, but how do these pieces mesh?
Yeah.
What's the coaching like? It's not as simple as you add up the sum total of their highest placement on the ladder or in the path to pro or whatever, and that's your ultimate victor. It's way more complex than that. But I can understand people. I know that people love Bembest, people love Logics, and they kind of want to go, yeah, of course we believe in these guys. They're
FD God.
Going to do awesome. FD God, yeah.
I mean, realistically, I remember watching them in last round, and Zerion was the player that impressed me the most. and Logic had a really good moment. I remember casting them against, was it Dice? And Logic's on Nepal at a really good moment. And I think Logic still, you could argue has the potential to play in the Overwatch League. But Zerion's probably the player that impressed me most there, and has had some results in Europe previously.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think, even criticisms noted, there's still a non-zero chance they take this, and they've already finished pretty high in this anyway. Hopefully, that's good for the project overall.
The only team to beat them was Maryville.
Did they really beat them?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But again, I personally don't see Team Paps going and beating Equal Friend. Really, I don't. If they were coached by Getames, yes. But I personally think the reason that they wouldn't beat Equal Friend is animated, because he would be able to identify that there will be little holes in this team, because they will have played at a high level and they're coming back into a tier 3 level where things are different. Things are different. The mentality of going to a game is different. And I would think that Equal Friend would beat them. I think Munich would beat them. I think they'll beat Goats and I think they'll beat Frosttails, but I would question them playing against Silly and Strong, and I would also question them playing against Brolove.
Actually, you mentioned Goats, and I kind of want to talk about this roster because that is going to be Team Peps' next opponent.
This one's weird to me.
And this is weird. I was thinking the same thing. This one is really strange.
So these players have been around. I remember watching Demon and Scrims previously, like ages ago, like last year. He was all right. He was pretty good. He wasn't great, but he was pretty good. And then we've got a bunch of players from Saudi Arabia who have kind of notably come up in the scene. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say they're amazing contenders, trials, or contenders talent, but they're solid players. Nutella we've seen around before and for a long time as well. And Alpha's a player that I see on Twitter all the time, and I quite like Alpha. He says some nice things.
I mean,
but
definitely know more about these players than I do.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's the extent of my knowledge. If I looked at this roster and I saw they were in top 6 OD, probably would have screamed for a couple of hours and whacked a pillow or something like that.
So you're saying it would have been a normal day in the Ocean household?
Yeah, I just don't think it's a top 6 OD roster. I think top 16 maybe, but I don't even say that's a push.
I mean, they beat Frosttails. Frosttails have looked really good, and this team beat Frosttails.
That's what I'm saying. But I would say Frosttails. Looking on paper, at least, who I would expect to go and beat them: Silly and Strong, Munich, Frosttails, Peps, Equal Friend. I would even look at Frog and say they could probably give them a run. Like, really, really surprising performance, but good job to them. Really good job to them.
Is there any affiliation to the original Goats team, or is that just a coincidence?
No.
There's I didn't know if there was like a manager or because I know it was an NA team. I realize
this is a weird roster. I would imagine it was put together last second. I imagine that they all just looked at each other. Didn't know a clue for a team name. I just went, we liked Goats, and that was their name.
Fair enough. What else do we want to talk about, friends? Any other rosters who stood out? Anything else we want to take a look at here?
I can only really point to rosters that I'm looking at the roster now, because again I've not been following this as closely as I've liked, and say, I would have liked to have seen these guys go a little bit further. But that's mostly just the name recognition thing of I know and like this player. I would like to see them get more chances. So, Backbone 2704 out in Losers round 9. I'm a big fan of Refid and Lucer as a support line. That's kind of the core of the Sheer Cold roster. We don't really have a word of what's happening with Sheer Cold now. Angels would have liked to have seen gone a little bit further. Again, Timo, Jeru, and PureIrish on the tank line.
Yeah, obviously PureIrish we talked about earlier.
On support.
Timo, the French Chad, who's just been rocking that main tank role for many years.
Yeah. Sorry. Avoria on that roster, another ex-player of mine. The way that he has come on mechanically, I remember watching him in that weird 10K tournament that happened a while ago now. And he was playing in the early rounds. I think it was against Mind Goblin, and he played really, really well. He's a talented kid. I think my memory of Avoria, formerly known as Playhard, when he played for us, was he woke up late for OD.
Yeah.
Oh,
he woke up late for OD. And we had to set a plan in motion the next day from being like, look, You get up at this time. I better fucking see a picture of your breakfast. Right, that sort of shit. Talented kids. I want to see him keep going because he will keep going. He's a younger player.
Backbone have the best logo in the entire tournament. I'm just saying.
Yes. It's actually a picture of me early in the morning. I wake up with a smile on my face.
Why does that surprise me? Look at that smile. Look at that smile. That is definitely Billy in the morning.
You need to get those two overlaid and back and forth.
Yes. Sorry, Osh. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had to throw that out there.
Just to finish off, I think Warrior's a talented player.
Nice.
Is that Fryu? Just without the U anymore on his name there for them?
I think it's. I don't know. I think Frey. I mean, kind of is a standalone name in its own right. So I'm not sure.
I know that Fryu played with Refid and Looser a lot.
Yeah, I think this is a different player.
This looks like a very Italian team too, if I'm not mistaken. It's a very Italian team.
Yeah, I don't think Freyu plays anymore. I'm pretty sure Freyu retired.
Unluckers,
indeed. But guys, unless I'm very much mistaken, that's us kind of out of stuff to talk about for today.
Yeah, no, I think that was a pretty good rundown.
I'm sure we could dive even deeper into rosters if we really felt like it was a worthwhile investment of time. But I think maybe the thing to do,
we gotta save something for future episodes, Phil. We gotta, we will have summer series to cover.
We are running out of ideas. This is true. We should save some of them for next week.
Save some of those rosters for next time, and for our introduction into summer series. Because we're going to be doing a bunch of content for that. We got high hopes and dreams here around Map 5 for what we want to do for summer series. So keep your eyes peeled, and here's keeping fingers crossed, no doubt. I guess that leaves us with our final segment. Oh, this is gonna be the next segment I make a little intro graphic for, by the way. This may have to happen like tomorrow, but it is time for our T2 tweet of the week.
we just gotta clip that, and that's gonna be absolutely.
That is it right there.
Yeah, that was like pitch perfect.
Thank you.
So we caught this on last week's co-stream. If you'll follow Overwatch League Signs, you would have seen it there. Where it did some numbers, and this is cow tipping, C_OW_tipping, on Twitter with a support collegiate Overwatch front and center, caught on broadcast and sent out to the entire world. And Jeff, am I right in thinking you got to go and talk to him?
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody holding up a sign that says support collegiate Overwatch. Absolutely. I walked up and introduced myself and was like, so what do you do for the collegiate scene? I mean, this was the one person I was not shy about walking up to. And they do a lot of work in the collegiate Overwatch Discord and for the collegiate Overwatch Twitter, which is the one who put this out. And so, I mean, it's just all around just trying to support that scene. Fun fact, like where I'm basically seated a couple of, like, I'm right here. Like, I don't know how, I'm either like got up to go to the restroom or what, but this looks like this is in the middle of a match. So I'm surprised.
Must have been a boring one.
I sat through all of them.
Wow.
It did. Oh yeah. No. It didn't matter. I sat through all of them. But anyway, I'm surprised I'm not in this picture. But was a super nice guy and supports collegiate Overwatch, so he's already a friend of mine as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You can't argue with this. No. I love this image all around. Just love this image.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
We were on Jeff Watch. We were trying to every time. We spent half of our time looking at the crown. Yeah, you did. There's some really good pictures of you that were out there. We really wanted to get you on the cast, but
I tried so hard. It's unfortunate the internet didn't hold up there. I actually thought about taking my lapel mic back because it didn't work out, and then I decided, you know what? No. Because next time I'm just gonna record some videos and get them to you somehow. Like even if we can't do them live.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I did not come to this realization until it was too late. Until it was like, on your way home on day 4, and I was like, why didn't I just record videos and put them on the drive? Like that would have worked.
Go back in time.
So I'm keeping my overly priced Shure lapel mic because I think it'll come in handy in the future. And it's unfortunate it didn't work out because we really wanted to do like a live from the arena report during the co-stream. We really wanted to do it, y'all. Unfortunately, it just didn't quite work out. But hey, it was still
next time.
It was still a fantastic co-stream, and it was still a fantastic event. So, yeah, thank you. Shit, holding down the fort while I was gone.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I will tell you, co-streamers are very tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the entire time.
Especially doing 4 in a row. It's one thing to do like one day, and you think, oh yeah, we'll sit and watch some Overwatch together for one. Yeah. No, you gotta be consistent. All 4 days, all 8 hours. Like, so no,
that's
I appreciate.
Why we only ended up doing NA.
I appreciate y'all.
It's too much.
And with that underway, all that remains really is to say thank you very much, everybody, for stopping in and watching. Thank you, as always, to Glitch for letting us use her remix of the King's Row theme for our introduction. Thank you to Jeff and Billy and Ocean for taking part and bearing with us through all this and running production and all those other things. And we'll see you next week, all being well.